We got Bernie Koszewa with us. Bernie, the Executive Director for Mission Aviation Support Association. There in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Supports us all while we're up there at EAA. And we just wanted to bring Bernie in to give a little bit of an update there. And another project that Bernie is working on that I'm wanting to share with us. So come on in, Bernie, and share with us.
Okay. First of all, greetings from Wisconsin. We're about 15 minutes away from the EAA Air Grounds, so that gives you an idea of where we are. We'd like to thank IAMA, the organization, and Glenn for inviting us. We don't want you to forget us. We're only active 1 week out of the whole year, actually, but it gets to be a very important week for those of you when you come down here. And for what we're able to do, we're happy to make sure that you can keep coming. We'd also like to express our condolences on the loss of Joyce Lynn. That's a sad, hard situation to deal with, no matter who it happens or what organization, but when it's one that's within the Mission Aviation program, it's difficult to deal with. So we'd like to express our condolences from MASA. We've made a few changes over the years and improved our system from 30 years ago, what was a table and a tent and a place to have a quick lunch. Just to give some of you an idea, we actually went and ran through the numbers, and for the small budget we do have, we are able to pass on to IAMA members a total of $250,000 in services. That makes it possible for you to bring more people, spend some of your budget on setting up at the EAA grounds. We know that all of this, anything to do with aviation, seems to come with quite a price tag on it. We were fortunate over the last couple of years. What we were doing with security was a tent. It is now a 47-foot trailer, so that means when we get a rainstorm, which happens on occasion, your goods are secured, if you will. If they need to be there overnight, we lock the doors and they are secured. We also were able to acquire a 70 kW generator, and that has now done away with the 13 little tiny Hondas that sat around like bumblebees, disturbing us when we had speakers and having meals. So God has blessed us very richly with a lot of things. There are a couple of things I'd like to pass along. As most of you that have come know, we have a website, oshkoshmasa.org. From that website, you can register remotely, and that is one of the nice things that's happened. Bob Badeau is a skilled IT person, and he now manages all of that. But it allows you to sign up from wherever you are without having to do any forms or mailing. What we do request, and I've been urged to say this, especially on Bob's behalf, is that when you do sign up early. By early, that means we used to do this 30, 60 days in advance. We were going to set up, or we are setting up a schedule where you'll be able to sign up much, much more in advance. It's easier for us to remove your name from the list if something comes up and you cannot attend than it is at the last minute to try to find you housing or a car or increase the number of meals that people are going to be bringing in. Just as an idea for the numbers that we kind of run, we provide on an average yearly basis 90 homes for lodging, which I'm sure the COVID situation is going to have an impact. We provide 46 locations on site for people to camp, whether they're staying with us or whether they're bringing a little tent down. It's a place for them to call home for that week. We have 64 drive situations for people that attend with 15 drivers. We have 15 vehicles that are loaned to us. We do 69 speaking engagements. just as well as right now we're online, and certainly we don't know how everything is going to impact us as it impacts you with COVID restrictions right now. This seems to be the same way we're going to church by having this meeting and looking at a screen. That will change that dynamic of shaking hands and giving hugs to old friends. Again, EAA cancellation was a blessing, and the only silver lining that we see in that is that with all of the changes, and some look like they're going to be long-term, we're going to be able to have time to reflect on what changes will be effective, what will work for us, what's good, and what can we do next year to be able to come together, and will we be able to sit in a dining hall? Will people be just as receptive to having people from other parts of the world in their homes? We did do a survey, and we got back that 75% had no objection to lending cars, having people in their home, and we do not yet know how we're going to address eating in a tent side by side with everybody, including churches that have to prepare meals that have their own guidelines to follow. So the dynamic of what we do has impacted us even for just that 1 week. But that 1 week is extremely important, not just to us, but we know to you also, to keep the cost down and keep your ministry up. I'm in my 4th year. I had told MASA that I was going to do 5 years due to health issues and retirement desires, if you will. I've gone back into photography. I've been shooting aviation for a number of years for EAA and commercially. Matter of fact, I'm sitting in my photo studio here as we do this. One of the things that God has kind of laid on my heart, and I talked to Glenn about this, and he said, take a couple minutes and mention it, is that we have a truck, we have an RV trailer we pull. I've done 7 missionary shoots, one including a 2-week stint in Zambia. The benefit of some of this is that the organizations are able to use these finished product for fundraising. They're able to use them for training purposes, and they do help when you're using social media as much as we do now and printed matter. I've been watching all day here the photos that go up. What we will do is I can come out. My wife generally travels with me, so we don't need lodging. We'll come with a truck and a trailer. If you have an RV site, that's great. I will take the time and professionally photograph down things at no charge to you. This is our ministry work. And if that will help you in terms of putting together a presentation that will help with your training, that will help with your marketing and fundraising efforts, that is just something that we're offering up at this time to anybody that's connected with IAMA. We started a new program in here, also locally, which I want to mention, and that is a youth initiative based on budgets and declining revenue, which I'm sure is going to be an after effect of the COVID and the employment situation. We are doing many things in conjunction with EAA in the way of trade out for having youth and adults help with everything from parking airplanes to helping at the registration gates and the camping entrance areas. The relationship we have with EAA has been long-term. It's been good. We've been very blessed, and that pays for a great amount of that real estate that we put the campers on, and the security trailer and that big tent that we all eat in. The other thing we'd like to start, which again is part of that silver lining this year, that may give us the time, is we'd like to start a scholarship fund so that we can have additional people that would benefit from maybe coming down the road and connecting with IAMA and connecting with whether that's MAF or JARS or New Tribes, etc. We'd like to be able to sponsor somebody as the amounts grow. We haven't started a GoFundMe page, and we probably won't. What we are doing is that some of the photography work I do, if people contribute to that, that will go to a scholarship fund. Again, so it's an investment in that respect. It's not mandatory. It's certainly not required. What we're doing is a ministry work, but we also want you to understand that we're investing that time in two ways. One, to help your ministry. The other one is to keep the youth involved. And I think we're all faced with the same situation, that we're a bunch of people that are just getting a little bit closer to that end of the line. And we'd like to have another generation follow us as God calls us home. So we are investing time and effort, and we would like to invest some revenue in the young people that are coming along. And they do this by volunteering for us. That helps support MASA. MASA in turn helps support everything that IAMA does when they come down to EAA. So yeah, we do work throughout the year, but it's that 1 week that's important to you that we want to make sure we take care of all your needs. I see Glenn just got away from his table over there. But Glenn, is there anything specific that you would like me to talk about here beyond this?
Well, I've got a question for you, Bernie. You talked about speaking in the churches. Obviously, we're not going to be there to do that this year. If there's any churches that would be interested in having us appear via video, however we might want to be able to work that out, let us know, and we will still be able to do that. We'll scatter that around amongst the missions. And so if that's a possibility, we would be very open to doing that.
I think that's a very high possibility. Lee Small has not stopped contacting churches about speaking engagements. I think as soon as we can pull the trigger on having people gather together in church, whether that be in a small group or large group, and maybe it's going to be a continuing electronic effect like we have right now, it would certainly be possible for us to integrate some of the speaking. Matter of fact, Scott was going to be our keynote speaker this year, and that didn't materialize, and it may end up materializing just the way we're getting together right now. This is not all bad. It's not all good, but it's not all bad. You know, when we say God closes the door and opens a window, at least we got a small window to go through, and we're all speaking this morning. And I agree with the rest of the speakers. This has been an incredible opportunity to have people from around the other parts of the world join us that would never have partaken in the convention in Texas. Granted, we may have saved a little gas money, but I think the exposure and the speakers this morning, they were tremendous. There was a lot to be learned that we can apply to all of our organizations. We're just a small piece of this, but I think you're right. The churches, they do appreciate the speakers. And I think we can electronically integrate that. I will certainly be in touch with you about that and be speaking with Lee and our board about getting that arranged. Thank you, Glenn.
Okay. Anything else you want to share with us, Bernie?
No, I think, you know, I've been doing aviation for a long time. I was a private pilot. I've been in aviation since Vietnam, if you will. I've been around EAA for a long time since they opened up. I've been doing professional shooting. We're not saying that the extremely good cameras that are attached to cell phones today can't do the job. But there again, if a picture is worth 1,000 words, make it a good picture. Make it a good picture. There's a difference between what we can do with lenses that are available today and camera equipment that make for a little bit different presentation than ones you can do with a cell phone. We're just offering that up as a ministry. My wife and I, we're lending ourselves to taking that traveling time, and we're lending our skills up to doing the processing for you. What you do with it is your call. Our trip from Zambia, I brought back approximately 3,000 photos and 30 some videos. By the time that was edited and put together into a presentation, we did one here, and it resulted in several thousand extra dollars being raised. And I see that same opportunity for many of the organizations today that whether you're strained with financial budgets, and nobody's going to hire a photographer if you're already in that mode. We're just saying that we can turn that into something that will help share your ministry and your vision for what you want to do and help in your fundraising efforts. So you can get my phone number off the OshkoshMASA.org website. Give me a call, shoot me an email. We will make arrangements to get together with you. Appreciate the time, Glenn.
Hey, thank you, Bernie. And if somebody can't figure out how to get Bernie, let me know and I'll get you guys in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.